We move on to getting the knowledge from Chennai, a beautiful city I last visited in 2019. She is the gain enabler. She is our speaker for this session. Sangeeta contributes to business by enabling high performance and enhancing financial growth. As the founder and CEO of Gain Pestic, Sangeeta is on a mission to enable, empower, and elevate businesses with a purpose to serve entrepreneurs, leaders, and teams to shine and succeed. She brings along rich corporate experience of 25 years with multinationals, and her latest position was as the Executive Director and Chief Financial Officer of Dun & Bradstreet Technologies. Sangeeta is a chartered accountant, management accountant, and has completed executive education from Harvard Business School. She is a high-performance business coach from International Coaching Federation. She is a TEDx speaker, and she is a best-selling author of What the Finance and Get High. She has received many accolades, and some of them include awarded Leading Woman Chief Financial Officer in India, Nightingale Award by the Society of Auditors, Innovator in Finance at International Women Leaders Forum, awarded as 100 Inspiring Authors of India, Outstanding Professional Award by FICCI. Sangeeta is a professional speaker at many national and international events, forums, and corporates on business finance, high performance, and leadership. She believes in value creation for her clients. She is an independent director in IFB Industries Limited. She is married to Sumesh, mother of two, and balances her personal, professional, social, and spiritual life as an art of living practitioner. I got to know Sangeeta around 7-8 months back when I got opportunity to attend some of her sessions. Personally, I think Oman was the last when I attended Sangeeta's session. And I missed Bahrain session, but Mahesh, the then chairman of our chapter in Bahrain, very highly talked about you, Sangeeta, and have been following you for the past 7-8 months. It's wonderful that you agreed and you came, you accepted our invite to speak to so many of our young professionals, and today you will be sharing the knowledge on ICI head office platform under the initiative of Committee for Members in Industry and Business, where our chairman C. Hansraju and C. Durgesh Kabra's vision has allowed us to complete the 3 executive programs, and 3 more are to come. And we are really looking forward to your session today. I'm sure everyone will have a great time, and I request all to, from wherever we are, to please give a big virtual round of applause for Sangeeta and welcome her on the stage. Sangeeta, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Prabdeep. That was a lovely introduction. And before I get started, I want to wish everybody good evening, good afternoon, good morning from whichever part of the world you are joining us. So I would like to take this moment to acknowledge and appreciate the members of the CMIB of ICAI, especially the chairman, Mr. Chug, and the vice chairman, Mr. Kabra. Thank you so much. And the entire team. You guys have been doing a phenomenal job of putting all this together. And it's my absolute pleasure and delight to be here as part of this and, sharing my knowledge across the globe to most of the members who are there today. So thank you so much and continue this phenomenal job that you all are doing. So, right. Before I get started, I want you all to take a moment and just think. How would you feel if you accomplish a task with great efficiency, speed, and finesse? would you feel when you achieve something that you thought you could not achieve? And if you keep getting consistently better at what you're doing, how would that be for you? I'm curious to know how you would feel, and this is going to be an interactive session, folks, so please keep the chat box buzzing, and I would request Prabdeep to please call them out for me on how is it you would feel when you accomplish a task with great speed, efficiency, and finesse, when you achieve a task that you thought you could not, and when you keep getting consistently better at what you do. How would that be for you? Go ahead and post it in the chat box.
Please post your views. We are really looking forward to how you feel. That will help Sangeeta significantly to see that how she needs to structure her session. And we hope we will get some good comments. Let us see. Jayesh says, I will feel awesome.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. Yeah. You will feel on top of the world because you have impressed yourself by your performance. So my friends, my talk for today, Get High, is all about high performance, right? How to coach yourself for high performance. Because I truly believe there's a high performer in each one of us. And all that we need to do is to identify that and bring out the high performer in each of us. Now, during my tenure of 25 years in the corporate and also for the last 5 years as a business coach, I've been working with different corporate leaders as well as entrepreneurs, and there's something that I have noticed in common. High performance leads to high profits. So, if you were to look at high profits, achieving high profits, and if you go to the root cause, it is high performance. And therefore, my friends, high performance becomes something that's important for all of us in whatever walk of life we are, in whatever sphere we want to do. And that is the speciality of high performance. So again, I'd like to hear from you all. How many of you want high performance? Go ahead and post it in the chat box. And also, who wants to be associated with high-performing organizations? And how many of you want to be as part of high-performing teams? Go ahead and post it in the chat box. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on high performance.
Yeah, Sangeeta, before these comments come, I would like to read Srinivasulu's comment on your earlier question where he says, very proud of myself and try to find out my mistakes in that success also.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Mistakes are fine, but as long as you don't repeat the mistakes, absolutely fine. And that will actually drive you in the path of high performance. So how many of you want high performance? Do let me know. Are you
Vijay Lakshmi, Vijay Lakshmi says satisfaction. Srinivasulu says high performing organization.
Excellent.
And so please quickly everyone, please type. Let us have some good comments.
Absolutely. So you guys are awesome. So looks like all of you want high performance, and that gives me a lot of energy to move ahead in today's session. So what are going to be some of the key takeaways for you at the end of today's session? Let's check that out. So firstly, like I said, I've been a high performance business coach, and I have noticed something. Some of the challenges seem quite common across industries, across levels, and I'm going to share with you some of these common challenges that come in the way of high performance. The second thing that you'll get to know is some of the keys to overcome these challenges and how you can find your solutions to be the high performer that you want to be. And the third takeaway would be, I'm going to share with you a framework for high performance that you can utilize and be the high performer that you want to be. So are you ready? Can we go ahead? I would like to hear from you. Are we ready, guys? If yes, give me a thumbs up, emoji, or just post on the chat box saying yes, let's move on.
Yeah, everyone is eagerly looking forward, Sangeeta. Around 5 comments we have got that they want to know.
Okay, awesome, awesome. That's super duper. All right, so take a look at the photo in your screen. And I would like you to take a guess and tell me, do you identify this person? Or if not, let me share a little bit of his story with you.
Right.
This person was born in 1974 in the slums of Manila in the Philippines. He used to gather leftover food, clean up the garbage, push carts, because his family was much below the poverty line. His dad, in fact, didn't have a job, and this little boy was the one who was contributing to the family's income by doing these different odd jobs. Yet, this little boy had a lot of dreams, had a lot of aspirations. He wanted to study further and educate himself. However, the poverty situation in the family did not allow him to do so. Luckily for him, one of his neighbors, who was taking a TV serial, offered him a role in the serial. And you know what role he had to play? He just had to go and ring the calling bell. And this boy was still very keen to do that because he was getting some money. He could be in an air-conditioned room and he was given some food as well. And therefore, he agreed to do this. And one thing led to the other because he was quite good looking. And from the TV, he moved on to becoming a movie star. By the age of 23 actually, he became the councillor of the city of Manila. So like you notice, from the slums, he moved to the movies and then he entered politics. And he did not stop there. He then went on to become the mayor of the city of Manila. And you know, when I visited Manila in the year 2019, Isko Moreno, which is his name, was a great sensation throughout the country. Everybody was raving about him, and this boy, this man right now, hasn't stopped. He now wants to go and become the president of the country. Now, the reason why everybody has been talking about him and the reason he's been so popular is, despite being a highly accomplished person and being the top politician, he even now sometimes goes, cleans the city and does a lot of good for the city. And he's all just about 46 or 47 and so popular. Now, why am I telling you the story of Isko Moreno from Philippines? Like you know, look at his transition. Slums, movies, politics at such a young age. That is a true example of high performance. Look at his growth, how he has moved from where he was to where he is. And that, my friends, is the speciality of high performance. Right. So, I would like you to take a moment and think, why high performance? Why everybody wants to be a high performer? Simply because, tell me, is there any one of you who does not want high performance? Be it leaders, be it businesses, be it different organizations, everybody wants to be a high performer in their own domain. And that's what makes high performance all the more a speciality. Because till date, I have given so many talks on high performance, and I'm yet to come across a person who says, I don't want high performance, right? So that is what makes high performance something so important. So we are talking so much about high performance, but what is high performance? Right? If I were to give it a definition, achieving superior results by performing at a high standard as per set targets is what is high performance. Let me repeat that for you. Achieving superior results by performing at a high standard as per targets that you are setting yourself. And that is high performance. So basically, you are trying to see how you can improve yourself, how you can become a better version of yourself, and how you could get better at what you're doing. And that is what will drive you towards high performance. Like I say, there is a high performer in each of us. And all that you need to do is to identify and channelize yourself in the right path so that you are in the path of performance. Now, if the word you, Y-O-U, if it was an acronym, how would that be? Y for you are, O for outstanding, and U for unique. I believe that you are outstanding and unique, and each one of us are. We are outstanding and we are unique, and we have the capability to achieve high performance in whatever that we are doing. All that you need to know is become a little aware of it so that you are able to drive yourself in the path that you want. Before I proceed further, I have a little song for you. And you know how it goes? You know you can get high. Your performance can touch the sky. If you work on it every night and day, manage beliefs right away. You know you can get high because it's in your hands. You have the potential. You have the capabilities, and you can achieve whatever that. So go ahead. Don't stop yourself. Go and get whatever that you want, my. So, being a coach, I'm going to share with you, like I promised, some of the keys for high performance. What are the challenges for high performance, and how you can overcome them with these keys that I'm going to share with you. So in my journey as a coach, I have worked with different people, and I have picked up some of the common challenges that most people face and how you can help yourself with the keys to high performance that will help you overcome these challenges. So if you're ready, let's get moving. The first challenge that I have noticed is lack of clarity. Now, why am I talking about lack of clarity? Let me give you a real life example that happened with me. I had written an article on LinkedIn, and this article was headed Break Free from the Myths of Coaching, and I had given 3 myths on how one can break away from these myths. And the top and the most important myth was how to differentiate between a coach and a mentor. Now, this particular article was actually published in another magazine, online magazine, And a lot of people appreciated me for the article, saying that it was very well written and it was very clear. In fact, just last week, the International Coaching Federation from the US tweeted about my article. So, on one hand, I was receiving a whole lot of compliments. And when I had published this on LinkedIn, there was one particular person commented saying, this article does not bring out the role a mentor plays. It's not clear. So the moment I saw that, I was a little taken aback because, when everybody is saying it's good, I was like, have I missed out on something important? Why is it not being, received well by this person? I had a whole load of thoughts, in my. But then I took a moment's pause. And then I realized my article was focused about coaching. It was not about mentoring. And that was an aha moment for me because I realized the objective of my article was to give clarity on coaching, and it was not about mentoring. And that opened my eyes, right? So the reason I'm sharing the common challenge that we face is the lack of clarity. And how do we get over it? By knowing your purpose. So I say the first key is purposefulness. Knowing why you're doing whatever you're doing. And that would give you a whole lot of clarity. Like Simon Sinek says, start with why, right? And that opens up your eyes and gives you a whole lot of clarity and drives you towards high performance because you know what your purpose is, right? That is what is the important aspect of knowing your purpose. In fact, this is not at an individual level as well. I have seen organizations, in fact, a client of mine, which is a big, large corporate house, they have not stated their purpose. The only purpose that they felt was to, they were in the manufacturing industry. They just wanted to manufacture and say, we want to make money. But hey, that cannot be a purpose, right? That is probably your end result why you're doing what you're doing. So go ahead and identify your purpose. And that will help you for high performance. So what is the second common challenge that many people face? You must have guessed it by now. It is the time management, right? All of us, we are so busy. We have so many things to do, so many distractions, and we seldom find the time for anything. So how can we get over this? So let me again share with you a real life incident. And this was a coaching conversation I had with another client of mine who is an entrepreneur. So during our coaching conversation, his objective from the session was he wanted to see how to grow his revenue, his top line. And then he was telling me as the conversation progressed how he's so pressed for time and he's not able to give the amount of time that is required for his business, which will enable him to grow his top line. He had to go meet his clients, talk to them, or do a video call with them, which would help him to grow his business. And he was pretty sure and confident about it. But the reason he hadn't done it was simply because he did not have the time. So during the coaching conversation, he also told me another interesting thing. What was it? He said, he was so excited that he had built his own website for the business, right? He's a startup and therefore he did not want to spend too much money and decided that he would learn how to build a website, and he has done an amazing job of building this website. Being from a non-tech background, he had spent quite a considerable amount of time learning how to do the website and of course invested more time in actually building this website. And that took quite some considerable amount of time. So when I asked him, I said, I know you've spent X number of hours in building this beautiful website, but had you invested this time in going and meeting your clients and growing your revenue, how much more could your business have earned? And that opened his eyes. He was like, yes, this is so minuscule. I know it is an expense and I've been trying to curb my expenses, but this is minuscule. Whereas if I had gone and met my clients, that would really help my top line to grow. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is you need to know time is money, right? You don't have to always control your cost. Controlling cost is important, but at what cost, right? Get to know that. So if you can delegate something, if you can outsource something that helps in the growth of your business, go ahead and do it. Now that the same principle is applicable in your personal life as well. So don't be penny wise and pound foolish, but think how you can manage your time. All of us have the same 24 hours. So be wise and choose what you really want. So the second key for high performance is delegation or outsourcing, whatever the case may be, because don't think you are a superman or superwoman and you want to achieve everything. So it's all right to delegate or even take help from the required people. So what is the third, right? Like we know, magic happens outside the comfort zone. So the earlier you realize it, the better for you. Let me share again with you my real life example. Like, you know, I'm an author, but you know what? I never had plans of becoming an author. I wasn't really wanting to write anything. I was on a family vacation to Cambodia in 2015, and I had visited the killing fields in Phnom Penh, the capital of Cambodia. Horrible, barbaric, gruesome stories. And you go there even now, you will see pieces of bones and nails. It does something to you. Very gruesome. And it just left a thought in me, saying, what happens if man becomes so cruel? And even after I came back, this thought was lingering in me, and unknowingly I had weaved a story in my head. And I happened to chance upon a 100-day book authoring challenge, and we know how challenges are so exciting. So I went ahead, took the challenge, completed the book, and I still had a lot of butterflies because I didn't know how the book would be received because it's a spiritual thriller. Thankfully for me, the book did very well, and I was awarded as one of the 100 inspiring authors of India. One thing led to the other, and when I started telling people I have written this book, they said, where is the finance book? So then I went ahead to write What the Finance, which became a national bestseller. And then, of course, another book, and Get High, which is on high performance. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is, had I decided to be in my comfort zone, right, and didn't want to write because I was telling myself I'm not an author, I don't know how to write well. Had I remained there, all this would not have happened. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is learn to step out of your comfort zone, right? And how do you do that? What is the key to that is, I say it is discipline, which is nothing but your bliss plus discipline, because do something that makes you feel really good, make a discipline out of that, and by following that and doing that, you can actually manage to step out of your comfort zone. So that is the third key that I wanted to share with you. The fourth challenge. We have so many things to do, right? But are each of them, are they worthy or worthless? That's something I would like you to think about. Let me tell you a short story here. Once, there was a king who had gone hunting to the forest. Unfortunately, he lost his way, lost his army and his people, and he was stranded all by himself He was trying to figure his way out, and he was just going in circles and was kind of getting lost. Luckily, he saw a man there. And that person helped the king find his way back to the kingdom. So the king was extremely thrilled and asked this man, "What do you do?" This man said, "Oh, actually, I don't have a job and I'm quite struggling." So the king says, "Don't worry. Please meet me tomorrow. Come to my palace tomorrow and I'll give you a pot of gold. Ensure you come tomorrow because from day after I'm going to be headed out for a war. So I will see you tomorrow," is what the king tells him. This man is very excited because he's going to get a pot of gold. So he goes home, tells his wife, he's so excited. He says, "Oh, this is what the king has told me. Tomorrow I have to go." The wife is equally thrilled. Next day morning, she cooks his favorite food and she goes and wakes him up. She says, "Get up, you need to go to the palace and collect the pot of gold." He says, yeah, I'll do it. I'm so thrilled. Let me just chill for some time and let me just sleep for some more time. She goes and wakes him again. And he's like, yes, I'm coming. Then she serves him his favorite meal. He eats it. He is so happy. And then his wife is saying, "Okay, listen, it's already afternoon, so just go to the palace right away." So he's like, "Okay, I'll go." Steps out. He sees some of his neighbors. He starts to boast to them. He says, "You know what? The king has called me and I'm going to get a pot of gold. I'm not going to be like any of you anymore. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to build my house. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that." And he brags around. He keeps going and he meets some more people. Same story. Then he wants to have some drink. He takes a lot of breaks. And by the time he reaches the palace, the guards there tell him, "No, it's too late. End of the day, you cannot meet the king. And if you really have to meet the king, you can come and move." And my friends, he lost out on the opportunity to get the pot of gold. The reason I'm telling you is, we sometimes focus on things that are not so important. And thereby, we lose priority on what is important, right? So the fourth key I want to share with you is know your priorities. Whichever is important, put that first, right? Because the other things will automatically fall into place. So know your priorities. Where is your focus? What are your interests, right? So ensure you do whatever is important. Know how to prioritize what is important, and that will lead you to high performance. So be it in business as well, what sort of process improvements can you bring about so that you prioritize the important ones and you're not caught up and brought down by the different aspects that are not as important as what is. So that was the fourth key that I wanted to share with you. So like I promised, I know these keys are easier said than done, but how do you really go about it, right? So I'm going to share a framework which you can use as a shortcut to achieve high performance in whatever area of your choice. Personal, professional, in business, whatever you want to. So go ahead and note this framework. Like you know, probably I'm an acronym person. I love sharing acronyms because it has higher recall value and you know how to go about doing it. So what is the acronym for the framework of high performance is LIFE. L-I-F-E, LIFE. So what does L stand for? L for love. When you love what you do, achieving high performance becomes a lot easier because it's your strength and you don't have to sweat about it and you don't get stressed when you're doing something that you love. Let me share another acronym on how you can fall in love with what you do. Are you ready? Here it comes. So how do you fall in love with something that you like? Is something that makes you happy. You feel so happy when you're doing it, right? So H for happy. if it's something that's of interest to you, right, you automatically want to keep doing it because you feel happy, you feel good about yourself. So something that is of interest to you, something that will give you gains. Now the gains can be financial or non-financial, but then you're getting something by doing it, right? So then you would fall in love with it, right? So by now you must have guessed the acronym. It is HI, and the last H stands for heroic. You feel, yeah, that you have done something that's really good. You feel good about yourself, and therefore you love what you do, and therefore you keep getting better at what you do. So being happy, feeling interested, getting the gains out of it, and feeling heroic would give you that high that you want. And therefore, you would be in love with what you do. So the acronym I said was LIFE, remember? So L for love, I for inspire. What makes you feel inspired? You would want to do that. And therefore, you would get onto the path of high performance. Look out for the inspiration. There's inspiration all around. All you need to do is just notice it and feel inspired. Inspire your own self. You can be your own inspiration as well. So go ahead, get that inspiration because that would help you for high performance. F is for focus. Be focused on what you're doing. You know, the mind is always chattering. The mind has so many different thoughts and telling you so many different things. Push it aside. Learn to focus on what you're doing, and that will again drive you towards. And lastly is the E. Life. So that's love, inspired, focus, and E is for excellence. Excelling at what you do, getting better in whatever you're doing. How is it you're striving to get better at what you're doing, right? That, if you have the intention to excel in what you're doing, will again drive you towards high performance. That is the framework that you need to remember. Doing something that you love, feeling inspired about it, focusing your energies and attention on it, and excelling in what you do will again ensure you are on the path of high performance, right? So that is what I wanted to share with you. And that is the framework, my friends, that you need to adopt to coach yourself for high performance. Now, you could coach yourself, which is you become your internal coach because you are your own coach. You can follow some of these things and coach yourself. It has its pros and cons. The advantages being you can learn yourself and you can perform. You know how to manage your own self and you are the best at it. So you know how to go about doing it. And you are independent. You are not really dependent on anybody else, whereas you coach your own self so you know how you are heading and progressing. At the same time, I would also like you to be aware on what the cons are. Some of the cons could be you're probably not getting a different perspective because it's you who has the same perspective working on your own self. There's probably nobody who is there to hold the mirror for you and tell you like, hey, this is probably not the best thing or whatever. So there's nobody holding a mirror out for you. And there's probably nobody to really kindle your thoughts because your thoughts are already there within yourself. So this could be a flip side. Like we know everything has its pros and cons. On the other hand, if you're interested, you could work with an external coach, somebody like me, and that also has its advantages and disadvantages. So advantages by working with an external coach is that you have an accountability partner. You have somebody to act as your sounding board, somebody who challenges you and somebody highlighting your blind spots. So, like you know, in the world of sports, even the best sportsman has a coach. They work with a coach. So I say, Why should it be any different in the business world? And that's why it said, everyone needs a coach. Either you coach your own self or work with a coach to ensure you are the high performer that you want to be. So that is what I wanted to highlight with you. So my friends, as we are nearing the time, I would like you to take a moment's pause, think and reflect on what is it that you have learned till now. What are some of the things that you want to start implementing? And how is it you could get better at whatever that you're doing? Think about it, reflect on it, make your notes if required so that you know how you want to go. Which way are you headed? And that will drive you again for the high performance that you want. And lastly, I would also like to share with you that, like you know, this is my book, Get High, and it has been endorsed by some of the New York Times bestsellers like Marshall Goldsmith and Ron Kaufman, and also some of the senior industry leaders in India. And my other book that I mentioned to you is What the Finance, which is the national bestseller, and both of these are available on Amazon, hard and soft copy. So if you would like to go ahead and read it, do get it. Get High is an activity-based book. It gives you a lot of frameworks and tells you how you can be on the path of high performance. And for each of these keys, there are a lot of explanations. And apart from these keys that I've given you, there are a few other keys as well that will drive you forward. So if you're interested, go ahead and get it. And since you guys have been an amazing audience, I also have some free buys for you. And the first book that you see, that is A Glance at the Unknown, is the spiritual thriller that I mentioned. It's a free download on Kindle. So if you want, you can get that. And similarly, Nightingale's 3 is being written by Chartered Accountants C.A. Shivakumar Kara and Patabi Ram, who are CA professors. And it's an extremely inspirational book on the life journey of 11 chartered accountant women, and I'm also happy to be featured in that. So if you are looking for some inspiration, go ahead and read it. Some exceptionally good stories of many other women who are featured in it. And of course, on Audible is my third book, which is The Power of High Performance Coaching. It's a free download audiobook. So if you want, go ahead and get that as well. And yes, I would also like to share with you that on LinkedIn, I have created a group. It's called Get High to Fly High. And Fly High, you know what is the acronym for Fly High? It is finance, leadership, and your high performance. So we keep sharing and learning from each other nuggets on finance or leadership or high performance. So if you're interested, just go ahead, look for Get High to Fly High on LinkedIn and join the group. And of course, if you have some lovely ideas, go ahead and share it so that we all can learn from each other. And yes, I'm happy to connect with you. My social media handles are The Game Enabler. So I am there on these social media platforms, and I will be more than happy to connect with all of you and help us each other, right? So now I would like to open up and now hear from you. What have been some of your key learnings today? What are your takeaways? What was it that stood out for you? And what is it you're going to get started on acting on your high performance? Do go ahead and let me know. And yes, if you have any questions and answers, please share that also with me. I'm happy to answer them for you. So over to you, Prabdeep. I would like you to read out some of the things, in the chat.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta. We have 6 minutes before our committee chairman, C. Hansraj Chuks, takes over for valedictory session, who has joined us. And I welcome Chuk sir to the meeting. Before the questions come and the learnings, participants share, there have been so many comments which has come praising you, which include you are a great storyteller. Many have written this. You are a great communicator, right? And you are a good singer, and your session was very fascinating. And many have said best session, and all of these have been said by one person who has liked your session too much. I would like to take his name because he has mentioned almost everything what I have just said. His name is Jayesh Chauhan.
Okay,
So,
excellent.
there have been some comments which has come over, like if my communication would have been like a person would have been, I would have been very happy with that. So, before other comments come, if you have any tips for them to improve their communication skills, because we can take that as one question.
Sure. Yes. So definitely you could improve your communication skills, and the key is practice, practice, practice. Because practice is what makes one perfect. You need, first thing is be aware of it, that you are wanting to improve your communication. So once you get the awareness, you know what exactly you need to work upon, and that will open up something for you, right? And as I said, keep practicing. Whatever that you want to communicate, right? Your objective is to ensure the other person to whom you're communicating is understanding and you're able to get your things done. That is the most important aspect of communication. So keep that in mind before you want to communicate. And on my YouTube channel, which is again the Gain Enabler, I have a detailed, I think about a 20-minute talk which is exclusively on communication, communication for high performance. So that was a talk I did for Amazon. So go ahead, it's a lot more details. It shares quite a few things. So go ahead and look through that and enrich yourself more. But to give you in a crux and in a nutshell, it's what I told you.
I have one question from my side, Sangeeta. You shared the story of a young man who wants to become a president in Philippines, yeah, right? And 3 or 4 years back, if I'm not wrong, one of the president for his hard rules also became very famous, who also came from a very, I think, low background. And there were some things which people also didn't used to like. So you must be having a knowledge of that leader also. So as you perform people for high coaching, can you compare these two leaders, who was a president, became famous, and who wants to become a president now in the country?
Right. So like I said, each person is unique. Each
Right.
person has their own strengths and their weaknesses. We are all humans. Nobody is 100% perfect. Each of us
Right.
brings something to the table. So first thing is, I would not like to compare anybody, but what I would say is, how is it you're leveraging on your strengths? You know you're blessed and you have the capacity and the potential to achieve something. How is it that you are actually utilizing that? How are you leveraging on what you have? Because by focusing on that and improving your strengths, that really helps you to get better, right? So focus on your strengths and not really your weaknesses, because your strength must be so good that it covers up for your weakness.
Right. Thank you so much, Sangeeta.